Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new video. Today I'm here once again to show you all the mods that I use in my game. This video is long overdue because I changed a lot of my mods after infants came to the game. So we have a brand new list and this is going to be in the video description. You'll have a link to this PDF file where you can see all the mods that I'm currently using in my game. Before we start, I just want to get a few things out of the way. It is long, but it is important, so just bear with me. I do use all of these mods, but that's because my computer can handle it. If you want to know my specs, I have them listed in the video description. Please don't install these mods all at once. Try just a few first, see how it goes, and just keep going like that. If you play on console, I'm sorry, but you cannot use mods. To install mods, you simply move them to your Sims 4 mods folder. You can organize your mods, but make sure to not use a lot of subfolders because some mods don't even work if they're in a subfolder. You can just create a folder for it and place a mod there. And for them to show up in your game, you need to enable custom content and mods as well as script mods in your game options. Otherwise, they will not work. Also, if you play with mods, it is important to do a backup of your saves folder just in case something goes wrong. There's always a risk when you play with mods. So just copy your saves folder and paste it somewhere else on your PC. If something goes wrong, like you get an error, you can look up the error online. You can also take the mods out, see if the error is still there, and if it isn't, move the mods one by one until you find the one that is giving you the error. And if you do find the culprit, you can read the mod post, see if you've missed something in its installation. But if the error is still there without the mods, you can repair your game, and if you do a backup of your entire Sims 4 folder. In this case, you don't even need to copy it, you just add something else to the folder name, and when you open the game again, the game will create a brand new folder, and the old one will still be there with the name that you changed it to, and from there you can just move your old stuff back in, like your saves, your tray files, your screenshots, all of that stuff, and you don't lose anything. If you want to know where each link takes you before you click on it, you can just hover your mouse over the download text, and a little box will appear on the bottom left side of your browser window showing you the link. All of these links take you to the mod posts, except for the food override mod. The mod creator doesn't have a Patreon anymore, and their blog is full of AdFly links. I know back in the day everybody used AdFly, I use AdFly, but it's really not that safe because they don't really monitor the ads that they run, so you can get malware if you click where you shouldn't. I'm leaving a direct link to the files that were posted by someone else on Reddit. I downloaded them, scanned them on my antivirus, and they're safe, but still I encourage you to do the same. The only thing that sucks is that you guys don't really see the mod, like what the override actually does, but once I get to it, I'll show you guys how it looks. All links I left take you to the most recent update of that mod, but it's always important to check the post of the mod before you download, or even check the comments to make sure that this is indeed the last updated version, because right now these links take you there, but as time goes on, mods get updated, and let's be real, I'm not gonna be here months later still updating this list. It's just not realistic. You should also read the post, as sometimes you need to download additional files. I did do a list of those mods. It's right at the very end of my mod list. You have the name of the file and the mods that need that file. And if you notice a broken link, let me know in the comment section and I'll try to find the mod again. And now we can actually begin the mod showcase. I'm not gonna do a deep dive into each mod because there's over 200 mods here. It would take me ages. I'm just gonna give a brief explanation of the mod, like what it does and why/what I use it for. So starting out with loading in CAS mods, first we have the no intro mod, which removes the game intro, making your game load faster, although I don't think that's one of its key aspects of the mod. The mod just removes the intro, but to me the game loads faster with it. The loading screen mod that I use is an alter version of the Lights Out loading screen by the 20th Century Plumbob, and I really recommend you guys to go check out their other loading screens because they're super creative with them. I cannot share this one that I made because I didn't really make it from scratch. The creative sim background that I'm using at the moment was made by Elchris, and they're another creator that you gotta check because they have so many other creative sim backgrounds and they're all really good. For the infants, I'm using this cute green pillow seat. To make my Sims glow, I'm using a CAS Lighting mod. This one is called Citylight, and I changed it in Sims 4 Studio to be pink. The mod creator has a tutorial on how to do it if you don't like the one that you get with the mod, which I also left a link to in the mod list. To make my Sims not move while I create them, I use a standstill in CAS mod. If you're someone who has a lot of skin details or ombres, you need this tidy CAS mod. This adds in little cards that indicate where a section starts and where it ends. so you'll know for sure which items you can overlay and those you cannot. The more columns in CAS adds in more columns to your Sim catalog so you don't ruin your mouse wheel with the constant scrolling. The Lifetime Aspirations mod is huge. It changes the aspirations we have in games so that they feel less like a guide and more like an actual end goal, like in the previous games. And there's also some new aspirations that come with the mod. Me personally, I only use the new aspirations and all the other ones remain same. The Child Aspirations Set adds in 4 new aspirations to your kids: the Perfect Angel, the Little Einstein, Delinquent, and Child Star, all with different tasks and their own reward traits. The Create a Sim Unlocks mod unlocks certain areas of Create a Sim that are locked for specific Sims. Like for example, you can't normally access tattoos for children, but with this mod you can, and if you have any skin details there, you can use them. It is also super handy for supernatural Sims, as a lot tends to be locked, and this gives you full control and complete freedom to make your Sims. The No Makeup and No CC on Randomized Sims does exactly that. It prevents CC and makeup from showing up on Sims that you randomize in CAS. Some CC might show up at times, yes, but your Sim won't be cluttered with accessories, you know? And the All Scenarios mod allows you to play through all scenarios that have been released even if they're no longer available. Now we have the Essential mods. These you need. At least I need. I can't play without them. Starting with everyone's favorite, the MC Command Center. I kind of feel like there's nothing the MC Command Center can't do. Like every time I want to change something in the game or I have an issue, I Google it and the answer is always MC Command Center. You can do that with the MC Command Center. There's an option there. There is no way I can cover this entire mod, but I can show you some of the things that I use it for. You can access this mod by clicking on a computer or on your Sim. The options you get are different though. On a computer, you have more general settings. These affect the entire game on all Sims. While if you click on a Sim, these settings are more personal and only affect this specific Sim and its household. On the computer MCCC settings, you can change the age span duration not only for Sims but for cats and dogs. On MC Career, you can make your kids and teens quit school. On MC Occult Aliens, you can change the abduction settings to make them happen more frequently if you want some alien babies. On your Sim, you can modify them in CAS. On Sim Commands, you can change their age, you can kill them, and even turn them into an occult. On MC Cleaner, you can sell your household inventory all at once, as well as your entire Sim's inventory. On MC Pregnancy, if your Sim is pregnant, you can see the gender and how many babies your Sim is having here. You can change those, or even terminate the pregnancy or start one. On relationships, you can add family ties with any other Sims in the world, which is great if you move save files and you had to split your family into 2 households. If you split them, when you move them over to a new save, they'll lose all their family ties, but here you can add them back in. I also use this to give my Sims parents after having made them in CAS and, you know, placed them in the world, so it doesn't feel like your Sim is completely alone in this world. Next, we have the UI sheets. This one allows you to manipulate the game in any way that favors you. Now you really are God. You can change your Sim's needs, their traits, remove fears, complete holiday goals, work goals, remove mullets, change the time or season, all by simply right-clicking. The beta build buy is a tricky one to install. You really need to read the installation instructions very carefully because it is just not dragging it onto your mods folder. You have to enable it in-game. But once you get it to work, you can access debug and live edit objects without having to type the sheets. You can change the color and intensity of all the lights in build mode, use the tab camera in build mode, and we also have the kits separated. EA could never. I mean, they probably could very easily, but they refuse to please us, so that's why we need beta build buy. The tool mod stands for takes objects off lot, and that's pretty much what it does, but it can also do more. I'm honestly still pretty new to this mod. I mainly use it to resize things more precisely, but you can move things up, down, and out of your Sim slots. I'm just not very good at it yet. Luckily, there is an undo button. Just FYI, you're probably gonna need it. The Control Any Sim mod lets you control any Sim by simply clicking on them, going to Actions, and Control Sim. Now, this Sim is not in your household, but for the time being, you can control them. And when you're done, you simply click to not control them anymore. You can also choose to not control Sims from your household so that they're on their own. Like they live in the same house as your Sim, but you only play with Sims that you want. It's like another way to have a roommate. The Teleport Any Sim allows you to teleport Sims via this knight armor statue. You just place it somewhere, and if the Sim you want to teleport is in the neighborhood, you pick the teleport option. If they're not here, you pick the summon option. This mod is a must for the post player mod, in which you might need all the Sims to be in the exact same place for the poses to work. With the post player mod, you need to download poses separately. They don't come with the mod, and once you have them, they'll show up in game here. So you just pick whatever pose you want for each sim, and there they go. The Simcity Loans is probably one of my new favorites because I like to work for my sim stuff, but I also want my sims to live in a good house right off the bat, you know? So what I do is I pick a house or I build one, I see its price, I move my sims to a random lot, and I use the computer to apply for a loan that gives me enough money to afford the house, and then I move there. Now, is it stressful? Yes it is. Because over time the game will ask you to pay a bit of the loan, and if your sims are just starting out in their careers, you might not have enough. So you're probably gonna need to get them a hobby like painting or, you know, anything really to bring in some extra money. But it's kind of fun to struggle. The SimSim online store allows you to buy pretty much anything. Need a cake? You can order one. Need a bouquet for a wedding but don't want to leave your house? You can order it. The online learning system is also a subscription service like the SimSim online store, but this one your sim has to pay only once to register, and then they're free to take any classes on any skills they want. And it's just nice to have another way to learn skills in the game. Now we have the personality mod, starting with the Have Some Personality Please mod, which makes it that your sims do things autonomously, and they act more accordingly to their traits and mood at that given time. And this mod works not only for sims but for toddlers and pets. The less intrusive sims makes it so that sims don't just walk up to you and try to join the conversation your two sims are having. The less obsession mod helps your sims with their obsession with yoga, making drinks, or coffee, or popcorn. There are certain things that if you buy for your sim, they just cannot seem to let them go. That's all they want to do. And it's so annoying. With this mod, you can have nice things, and your sims will not default to it every dang second. The holiday preferences or tradition override allows you to make your sim ignore holidays without having to cancel the holiday and getting a bad moodlet. The Preferences Plus gives you a lot of new preferences that you can add in CAS using the likes and dislikes feature, and these will affect the way your sim behaves in the game. These include drinks and food types, personality types, interests, and venues. With the hobby mod, either you buy the hobby you want for your sim from the reward store for 5 points, or you can just play the game, and when your sim gets level 2 at the skill from the hobby that you want for them, you can go to a computer and make them research that hobby, and you'll get a pop-up asking if you want that to be your sim's hobby. After your sim has a hobby, they'll get ones related to their hobbies, so you don't need to create a sim with specific traits like creative so that they'll be interested in painting. The Hopes and Fears mod changes the way these work in game, so they're not as lifeless. Your sim's wishes will depend on their day and what they are feeling at the time. So for example, if your sim is on a date, they'll get wishes related to it. The Life Decider works kind of like a randomized button for sims, so if you have a sim and no idea on what to do in terms of their story, or maybe you just want them to not feel so empty, because sims start out with nothing. You just randomize their life, and just like that, they have a job, skills, and a bonus trait, a whole life story. Now we have the mods that bring in some realism to the game, but these right here are the mods that I don't always play with. Realism is nice, but to me at least, it can be exhausting. It's more stuff that you gotta do, and it's not really a must-have, you know? But sometimes you do crave that. We're starting this with the Wicked Whims, which I feel like it needs no introduction. Also, I'm not sure how I can explain this mod on YouTube without getting in trouble, so like, it's real woohoo, okay? I mainly use this mod for drama, because sims just get it on. Affairs happen, the dialogue boxes kill me every single time, and they can do it pretty much anywhere, depending on the animations that you download, so you're not limited to the in-game woohoo locations, which is super convenient. There's an attractiveness system among some other things, but this mod is for 18+. The Healthcare Redux mod brings in actual sickness to the game, so if your sim gets sick, they need to go to the doctor, as it might get worse, and death can happen. Although you can disable that, but sometimes, you know, you want tragedy. That sounds so bad. Did you know your sims can brush their teeth? Did you know it does absolutely nothing? Well, with the dental care mod, you finally have a reason to do so. You can get cavities along with some other complications. You can also get a pop-up to get braces, so you actually remember to use them on your sims. It's great. But you can also see how it can be annoying if you have a full house. Keeping track of everybody's dental hygiene is a real struggle. But you can also wait until they get a bad mullet and only do it then, which is what I do. The eye care mod gives you a reason to give your Sims glasses, or you can just make them wear contacts. Either way, it's up to you. They'll have routine exams. By the way, the Elf Code Redux, dental care and eye care are all by the same creator, and they all work really well together. And these mods might feel like you need to keep up with them, like schedule doctor appointments, but no, the game will notify you when it is time to visit the doctor, so you just play the game and let things roll. The Basemental mod is another one which I don't know how to explain it without getting into trouble. I also haven't really played that much with it, if I'm being honest. It's still really new to me, but I also feel like it is pretty self-explanatory. I mean, just you're seeing this, right? Yes, okay, you get it. Moving on. And finally, we have Simzlink. This one is pretty straightforward. When your sim first moves in, they'll not have TV or phone or internet like in real life. They'll have to subscribe to the service and you'll have to pay for it. Now we got the relationship and pregnancy mods, and we're starting with the wonderful Whims, which is the PG version of the wicked Whims. So you get everything except the real woohoo. The relationship and pregnancy overhaul adds in so much content to your game and so much drama. The mod is divided by modules, so you only install what you want. Me, personally, I love that I can pick whether my sim wants kids or not, that we can take a break in a relationship and separate temporarily. If your sim has an affair, their partner can be suspicious and ask them about the other sim, and if they get caught, you can ask them why they cheated. If they get a divorce and they have kids, there's custody decisions to be made, and there's so much more. You need this mod. The first impressions mod is pretty straightforward. Whenever your sim meets someone new, they'll get a first impression sentiment. The checkout mod is a really simple mod that adds in a checkout interaction, in which if you use it on another sim, your sim might end up with a crush. Next, we have the Simda Dating App. This is another one that I don't always use because it lags up my game for some reason. First time I launch my game with it, it's fine. It's only after I close and come back to the game that the game starts acting up. It could be because I have it so that every sim shows up on the app. You know, it's just a lot of sims to load. It could also be because I have too many mods. But there are different options. You can choose if you only want sims that are the same age as your sim and that are single to show up on the app. And I mean, it's a dating app. You chat, you can meet up with them, and even have hookups. The bed cuddle allows your sims to cuddle in bed. The more kisses mod adds in some new kisses for your sims. The open love life allows your sims to have open relationships without their partners getting jealous. It's kind of like the player reward trait, but you don't need to complete an aspiration in order to choose your sim's relationship preference. You just pick it, as well as for their partners, and it's done. No one gets jealous. The LGBTQIA+ brings in so much to the game in terms of gender identity and your sim's sexual orientation. This was a mod that I've seen before, but I didn't feel like it was a must-have, you know? If I want one of my sims to be queer, I can do that without a mod. But what tends to happen is that I always default to bisexual, pan, or straight sims. And like, sure, I have explored other sexual orientations, but maybe like once, and that's exactly my point. So having a mod that encourages you to explore different gender identities and sexualities is great, because most of this won't be something you have to think about and plan, but something that you can make the game decide for yourself and have it be completely random and have a completely unique experience. Although, of course, you can also decide those things yourself. The meaningful story changes the way the mulets and emotions work, so now certain mulets last longer and your sims won't immediately become happy after being sad. There's a transition period. The Drama by She mod is a new one that I recently got, and it is so good. Your sims can now be petty, lie to other sims, cause drama for no reason. The beta Childbirth brings in so much to the game. You can get an ultrasound scan, choose the birth method. If you want to give birth at the hospital, you can choose between a natural delivery, cesarean, or fruit surgery machine. Or if you want a home birth, you can do a water birth or just give birth in your bed. And with the newest update, your sims can now pump breast milk and store it. You also have baby formula that you can use if your sim is not keeping up with the demands, or you can also give them lactation cookies. It is a mod that just feels like it should be in the game, but it isn't. The Ultrasound Scan mod allows your Sims to do an ultrasound examination, and when they come home, they'll have a picture of the scan in their inventory and a description with the gender of the baby. It's similar to the better Childbirth mod Ultrasound Scan, but this one is in a rabbit hole, which might feel like it's a negative, but it really isn't if you don't have that much time and you don't want to sit for loading screens, and the scan comes in a frame picture instead of it being just a photo. The pregnancy mega mod is old, and honestly, I don't really need it in my game, because MC Command Center does everything this mod can do, but it allows me to see if my sim is pregnant before taking a pregnancy test, and without spoiling the gender and how many babies my sim is having, which is what the MC Command Center does. You just click on your sim, and if the pregnancy option shows up, you know they're pregnant. And lastly, we have the easy/difficult babies, which allows you to pick if you want your baby to be easy to look after or harder to look after. Now we have the Toddler, Kid, and Teens mods, and first on the list is the Education Overhaul mod, which is a huge one, and it completely changes the school system we have in game. Toddlers can now go to preschool, where they'll learn skills and improve their character values, meaning you don't really have to do anything. There's new school options, including boarding schools, virtual school, private schools, which your sim can apply to. It's not guaranteed that they'll get in, but you can try. Your kids can also get detention if they slack, so you better make them work hard at the school. And there's field trips and summer and winter break. The character values overhaul changes the way your toddlers, kids, and teens get a specific character value. You know how you just kinda ignore them? Now you might need to pay attention to them, because if you slack off, your kids might get a negative character value trait. The traits your sim has play a part on the character values they start with. It's not neutral now. Some character values start on the red. The Toddler Conversation expansion brings in new social interactions for your toddlers. The Toddler Creativity Pack, this one I was debating adding to the list, as it's just items, but they do help you out immensely. You get a rocket stack, a xylophone, a drawing supply, and a crafting station. They're all functional, and they all let your toddlers level up their skills super fast. The school holiday adds in a brand new holiday tradition to your calendar, so your kids, and only your kids, get a day off. The better autonomous homework makes it so that students that have a grade C, B, or A do their homework on their own. Like, as soon as they come home from school, they'll do their homework without you telling them to. The faster homework makes homework really fast, compared to what it is usually in the base game. The First Love mod is really sweet. If your child has a friend that they're close enough with, they'll get an option to confess that they have a crush on them, and from then on you'll get the option to hug, visit, call them, and text them. The Bad Grades Are Okay mod allows your teens and kids to be at school with horrible grades and not be taken away by social services. The Spend Weekend With is good for when you need a break from your kids, as you can send them to spend some time with other family members or their other parent if the parents are divorced. The Preteen mod, this adds in a brand new life stage, the Preteen life stage. They are shorter than teenagers, a little awkward, and the mod does a really good job of introducing your kids to puberty. And if you don't want your kid to be preteen anymore, you can just remove the trait, but usually the trait goes away. They'll age up to a regular teenager on their own. The Dynamic Teen Life is another huge mod by Deep Indigo. With this mod you get new after-school activities, there's a popularity system, there's new opportunities and invitations for your Sims to sneak out, and so much more. And the Teenage Interaction Reactions is a mod that brings in parenthood compatibility to the high school years pack. So you can give your teenagers a woohoo talk, they can ask about it and actually get a response. And the Tell Urban Legend interaction actually tells you an urban legend. For the lighting mods, we first have the No Glow mod, which removes the bluish tint from the natural in-game lighting, and the Out of the Dark mod, which improves the light at night so you can actually see things if you're using the No Glow mod. Twinkle Toes is a lighting mod unlike other lighting mods because you don't install it in your mods folder, you install it in your games folder. You can click on the Sims 4 shortcut, go to Properties, open File Location, and go to the Sims 4 folder. This is where you'll drag the files inside the zip folder you downloaded, and you're going to replace the files you have. If you ever want to remove this mod, you're gonna need to repair your game. Now, I have here the Reshade preset I use, which is not a mod, but it does change the way the game looks, like drastically. The preset that I'm using, I changed it quite a bit because this was made for G-Shade, and I don't use G-Shade, I use Reshade, so of course, it'll never look the same. But if you're interested, these are the effects I've enabled and the values. I do have an effect here that doesn't normally come with the Reshade installation, and for you to get it, I'm gonna leave a link to a video explaining you how to install it and all of that stuff. And to finish the lighting mods, I have the Brighter Foundations mod, which brightens up the foundations, simple as that. For the world mods, I have first the Keep Sims in Home Region mod, a must-have if you play with Berry Sims. This mod prevents Sims from visiting other worlds, so a Sim from Willow Creek will only visit other Willow Creek lots. You will not see them in the other worlds, unless you specify yourself or invite them yourself to come over. The Pastel World mod is another must-have for berry playthroughs. It changes the look of the trees and buildings in the world to be more pastel and soft and pink. Not all worlds have been added yet, but the creators of the mod has been updating it, so we just gotta be patient. The no blur in distance and no fade on everything do exactly that. They remove the distance blur and keep objects visible when you get close to them. They will not get see-through. The All Worlds Made Clickable is a new one for me. It pretty much makes your Sims be able to get anywhere in the world. There are no limits as where you can go. The only problem with this mod is that your Sims will take unexpected routes. My recommendation is only use this mod if you're gonna take screenshots or if you're more of a storyteller and you don't really care about your Sims taking unexpected routes. The HD maps gives you HD versions of the world maps. Now we have the overrides and the game fixes. Overrides are mods that replace the look of something in game. I think these are all straightforward. I don't need to explain that sponge override is gonna change the look of the sponge in game. And the game fixes are also pretty self-explanatory. They're small mods that fix or change the game for the better, at least in my opinion. And I separated them by pack so you don't get a fix for a pack that you don't have. The food override mod doesn't have a post because the creator's Patreon was deleted. So I'm just gonna show you guys some of the dishes and how they look. And this is actually where I'm gonna be ending this video. If you guys have any questions, you can leave them in the comment section and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I hope this video helped you and that you found some new mods to add onto your game. And until the next video, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Goodbye, everybody. Take care.